Good morning. Today is Tuesday, July 1st. I'm Corva Coleman from NPR News, and here are today's top stories. The Republican-led Senate has been debating changes all night to President Trump's massive tax and spending package. NPR's Claudia Grisales reports Republican leaders are hoping to pass the plan after hours of new internal party negotiations.
Senators have taken up dozens of amendments from both parties, with Republicans hoping new tweaks to the massive spending plan will win them enough support within their party. Democrats, however, have put up a series of amendments to delay the process and attempt to gut the bill. Senators have struck one major provision from the legislation to block states from regulating artificial intelligence. However, while the bill retains its biggest measure to extend a tax cut program passed under President Trump's first term, the plan to pay for it remains in flux. Senate Republican leaders are hoping to overcome internal divisions to get the plan to President Trump's desk by a self-imposed July 4th deadline. Claudia Grisales, NPR News.
Billionaire Elon Musk is still angry over the spending bill. He again wrote online that he is open to creating a new political party. Musk says he'll then back primary challengers against any Republican who votes for this spending bill. President Trump is now suggesting online that the federal government should look at cutting subsidies to Musk's companies to save money. President Trump will go to Florida today to attend the opening of a new facility deep in the Everglades. It's intended to house thousands of migrants who are in the United States without legal status. White House spokeswoman Caroline Leavitt explained.
The facility is in the heart of the Everglades and will be informally known as Alligator Alcatraz. There is only one road leading in, and the only way out is a one-way flight. It is isolated and surrounded by dangerous wildlife and unforgiving terrain. The facility will have up to 5,000 beds to house, process, and deport criminal illegal aliens.
She says this is part of President Trump's goal to carry out the largest mass deportation ever of migrants illegally in the United States. The Justice Department is now aggressively prioritizing efforts to strip naturalized U.S. citizens of their citizenship. NPR's Jacqueline Diaz reports the DOJ is focused on cases where naturalized American citizens commit certain crimes.
The new stance towards naturalized citizens who commit crimes is laid out in a memo from the Justice Department to its Civil Division employees. Those crimes could include anything from national security incidents to cases of fraud, according to the memo. According to 2023 data, 25 million immigrants are naturalized U.S. citizens. Denaturalization has existed for decades and was used widely to deport citizens accused of being communists during the 1950s. Some immigration attorneys have expressed concerns over this expanded denaturalization effort, questioning whether it is constitutional and how the families of naturalized citizens would be impacted. Jacqueline Diaz, NPR News.
Authorities in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, have identified the deceased suspect whom they believe started a wildfire in order to ambush firefighters. NPR's Kirk Siegler reports 2 firefighters were fatally shot and another was critically injured.
Kootenai County Sheriff Robert Norris confirmed the gunman was 20-year-old Wes Rowley, who had moved to North Idaho recently from Arizona. At a news conference, Norris said local police had 5 interactions with Rowley before Sunday's fatal ambush, but all were minor for trespassing and welfare checks.
Very, very minor. We don't show any criminal history for Rowley.
Norris says they've also not found any evidence of what he called a manifesto, but the sheriff confirmed reports that Rowley had wanted to work in the forest and be a firefighter. Kirk Siegler, NPR News, Coeur d'Alene, Idaho.
A new study estimates that the U.S. Agency for International Development has helped save tens of millions of lives over the past 2 decades. As NPR's Jonathan Lambert reports, the study also predicts millions of preventable deaths will happen if funding cuts continue.
For decades, USAID has been the biggest government player in foreign aid, funding a range of initiatives from feeding hungry children to distributing HIV drugs. Assessing the total impact of those programs is tricky, but a new study in The Lancet took a comprehensive approach. It found that USAID programs were associated with a 15% reduction in deaths from any cause. That translates to about 91 million lives saved between 2001 and 2021. In March, the Trump administration announced that 83% of USAID programs would be canceled. If those cuts to health and disease prevention programs remain, the team of international researchers project that more than 14 million preventable deaths could occur by 2030. Jonathan Lambert, NPR News.
The health ministry in Gaza says nearly 130 people have been killed by Israeli forces since yesterday. This comes as Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says he'll visit President Trump next week in Washington. Netanyahu also says he plans to meet with Trump's special envoy Steve Witkoff and others. This past weekend saw the annual T-Rex World Championship foot races at a horse racing track in Auburn, Washington state. Several T-Rexes face-planted as they raced in full dinosaur costumes with gargantuan inflatable heads. Winners got trophies and, perhaps, infamy. The event began a few years ago as a team-building activity for a pest control company. And you're listening to NPR News.